I'm sorry, what was your superpower again? He said, I'm rich. Good morning, everybody. Rich Wheeler and Dwayne Wiggins here with you, coming at you from the ATA, Automotive Training Academy. And a while back, Dwayne presented the question, which Marvel superhero, actually we're going to be specific, it was which Avenger would make the best business manager. And I sort of strayed off the path a little bit. It's been a long time since I read any comic books, and I started kind of going over the line into the DC characters a little bit. So we thought, hey man, we'll bring up DC then.
Yeah, and I'd like to start out with an apology to Aquaman. I said that Aquaman in the last one, all he did is talk to fish and carry a trident. And since that, I've done a little research on Aquaman. It seems like Aquaman's a stand-up guy, good in the community, good with kids. So I'm sorry about that, Aquaman. If you're listening out there, I apologize up front for any negative feedback you got back from my talking to the fish and carry the trident.
Now, let me give y'all some background on this. Dwayne is an avid offshore fisherman. He has a boat. He and his wife almost every weekend go fishing. I can see where this is going. See, Dwayne's afraid he's going to be out fishing one day. Aquaman's going to come flying up out of the water with his trident and smack you upside the head for making fun of him. I can see exactly where this is headed.
Either that, or evidently he's done that because he must have talked to the fish and told them not to get anywhere near my boat.
Yeah.
Because the last couple trips has been pretty rough out there, is all I'm saying.
He's been telling them where you are ahead of time. Okay, so I'm going to let you start this one. What DC superhero would make the best business manager and why?
Well, I looked at a couple of them, and I kind of just looked at the Justice League ones because those are popular. I didn't have time to go through all of them as far as DC.
Well, those are the movies that are out right now.
Right. So, I'm leaning a little bit towards either Batman or, Green Lantern, believe it or not.
Green Lantern's super cool. Love me some Green Lantern. And I think really specifically because Ryan Reynolds was Green Lantern. And I just like me some Ryan Reynolds anyway. He's pretty cool. The movie where he was, doing his thing with Sandra Bullock up in Alaska, that was a little bit weird. But other than that, he's been in some really good movies.
Yeah, well, now he's gone Deadpool. He can't go back.
And see, I think he would have made a great James Bond if he hadn't done Deadpool.
Oh no, he can't go back.
Like now, you've blown that. So, but he makes a good Green Lantern, and Green Lantern would be a pretty cool business manager because again, strong, smart, and then he's got just enough tech, kind of that weird tech,
Yeah. Well, the other thing I thought about it, of all the human beings on the planet, he was the one that was gifted the ring.
That's true.
So that must be that he has some special skills or special qualities that allows him to wield the ring and create all this stuff with his mind. So he has to be pretty smart. His will has to be very strong. So sometimes in those negotiations, you have to have that strong will and that determination and that persistence when it comes to presenting products to those customers. So I'm thinking that that's going to suit him pretty well.
Okay, so by that rationale, Frodo Baggins makes a good business manager? I mean, he had the ability to possess the ring.
Well, I got you, but I thought we were talking about DC and you're going Frodo Baggins.
You brought up the ring. You brought up the ring. I'm just saying.
Well, let's talk about Yoda. Strong in the Force, this one is. Yeah, we can always go Yoda if you want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, he's just going to Jedi mind trick you into buying everything. So.
All right, stick to DC, though. I mean, we're talking DC today.
I like the Batman correlation. Again, smart dude. By the way, okay, let's not kid ourselves. Same reason why I like Iron Man, right? Smart dude, cool. He's loaded, got a lot of money. One of my favorite lines is when Flash looks over and he says, I'm sorry, what was your superpower again? He said, I'm rich. So, and he's got all the tech. That's the other thing. See, I think having the tech plays in well with today's customer because when they come in, and people don't buy new cars because they want the latest and greatest transmission. They don't buy new cars because they want the latest and greatest, axles. They come in because they want the new tech. Whatever the new tech is in the car, that's what they want. So I think somebody like a Batman, I'll circle back to Iron Man, any of those guys who are sort of up to speed on tech, they're going to be able to relate to the consumer why they need protection, whether it be a service contract or whatever else.
Well, what about Flash? I mean, number one complaint in the F&I industry
right now
is
that's a good point.
It takes way too long. Just ask any salesperson out there. Just go ask them, what takes too long in your dealership? And they're going to say, well, it's the
Yeah,
F&I manager,
that's
takes
right.
too long.
Time is a new currency.
Flash could definitely get that taken care of. I mean, it is Flash, by the way.
I'll give you that. Yeah. Now, see, you know, Wonder Woman, she had that lasso, and
The lasso of truth?
So you could use that lasso to find out what the objection is.
Good.
I mean, that's kind of like us getting the "you told me's" out, you know, in the interview process. We're trying to find out what the truth is. She just skip the interview. She just goes straight to the lasso, poof, and she's going to find out what your objection is, whether you want her to or not. But then now the question is whether or not she can overcome it after that.
Right.
But she's going to figure out what it is.
Well, I do like her. She does lead by example. That's one thing that she never asks. Like in the latest movie, Wonder Woman, if you saw her, she wouldn't wait for everybody to charge across that field.
Oh, no, she went
jumped
across.
up and just took care of business.
And I'm telling you what, there's something kind of cool about a woman that can dodge bullets. I mean, that's just, you know.
That's pretty awesome.
That's pretty awesome
Okay,
altogether.
all right, yeah, it is. I mean,
So, okay, more DC characters.
what about Superman?
See, I knew
mean,
you were going to go to Superman.
Well, he's the dude.
I know I'm supposed to like Superman, but I just
How
can't
could you
put
not like
I
Superman?
can't put Superman in a car dealership. It just doesn't
What?
work for me.
Clark Kent, man, the mild-mannered guy.
That's the problem.
The hometown. He's
a
Clark
little,
Kent.
He's a little too mild-mannered for me.
Oh, come on.
I mean,
Super-
I gotta have
vision.
I gotta have a little bit of swag. If you're gonna be in a dealership, you gotta have just a little bit of swag about you. I mean, how many times you walk into a dealership and somebody really good in our business is as boring as Clark Kent? Now, mind
Okay,
you,
all right,
we're
I'll
not,
give that to you.
So we're and we're not
give that to
necessarily talking about their alter ego. We're really more talking about. And I will say that this last round of Supermans was kind of a little cooler than like go all the way back to Christopher Reeves. I don't have anything against Christopher Reeves. Once again, rest his soul. I thought, you know, but he's not a business manager Superman. This last guy, he was a little closer to a business manager Superman, especially when he was whooping up on Batman.
Oh, he got evil.
He got a little bit brutal.
He got evil.
He went all sorts of aggressive there after a little while. What about Robin? Can Robin make a business manager? Robin's not even a good salesperson. Let's not kid ourselves. Robin's like a porter, if we're going to be honest.
He's not even number one in his own store. He's
Yeah.
going to take over that job.
Yeah, if
That
we're
ain't
gonna,
happening.
yeah, if we're going to be honest, he's probably more like the porter. He's just fetching stuff for Batman most of the time.
Although I think later on he becomes Grayson, so I think he gets a new identity. But I think that happens in the Marvel universe. But I'm not that hip on it.
DC Universe. See, you did it too.
Did I
You
say
went-
Marvel?
Yeah, you said Marvel.
Oh my God! All right,
Because
so DC.
I was about to go Daredevil, but Daredevil's Marvel.
Yeah.
And I did like me some Daredevil now, especially one of the very few roles that I like Ben Affleck in.
That's a pretty good role.
I'm not a huge Ben Affleck guy. The other movie he was in that was really good was The Accountant. Did you see that?
Mm-mm.
You haven't seen The Accountant yet?
Mm-mm.
Oh my gosh, as soon as we finish this podcast, you have to go watch The Accountant. Have you seen The Accountant, Paul? Mm-hmm. So we have Paul, one of our service trainers, in here in the room with us. Is that not an awesome movie?
Awesome.
So the Accountant, he's got some kind of a weird thing, and they never actually say if he's autistic or if he's just some other form of very slightly off, but he's like crazy smart. So it makes you think a lot of people think that autism really just borders on genius, truthfully. And one of the reasons why they're super good with mathematics and numbers. So anyway, in this particular movie, I don't think they ever say, do they? I don't think they ever say. I'm sure they're not trying to label him, which is good. But he's crazy smart, like super smart. And so he comes into this accounting firm and he like figures out all these problems. But he also happens to be like a paid assassin. Just like his side job,
Well,
right?
At nighttime I think I'll moonlight. I'll go shoot people. Is that
I'll
what's
be
going on
a
here?
paid assassin,
Okay,
and I'm also an accountant. Now, there again, how can we relate that back to the car
I'm
business?
just saying I'll never make
As
fun
a-
of my accountant again.
as-
That's all I'm saying.
As a business manager, you got to be really good with numbers, and you got to be aggressive. Don't kill the customer. Don't kill the customer. And I don't think any of us are as smart as what Ben Affleck is in this movie. But yeah, it's a great movie. Anyway, so back to Ben. Ooh, and also Ben Affleck played Batman.
He did.
He did play Batman.
Yeah, so he's got double. He's got
Yeah.
double DC. There's also the Catwoman. Catwoman's DC. I think I remember.
No.
Right.
So not DC again. So he played Daredevil in Marvel.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then he played
Daredevil.
then he played Batman for DC.
He's total-
Now that's weird.
he's
I don't.
total
Has
universe.
anybody else straddled the 2 different comic books like that? You
I
would
don't
know Jordan.
Jordan, anybody got that?
Ryan Reynolds
Oh,
was
with Green Lantern.
Green Lantern.
And then Deadpool.
Oh, very cool.
All right, that's
little known
excellent.
facts that we didn't think about
All
going
right,
into
so
this.
yeah, if you're listening out there, I don't think we can come to a consensus on who our DC choice is. I'm going towards Green Lantern. I think Rich likes Batman.
I'm still Batman.
So if you could kind of settle that for us or give us a different idea of who you think it was.
And also, if you can think of any other actors which straddled both universes.
It's
Because
pretty.
that's the only 2 I can come up with off the top of my head. I don't think I've got anybody else that straddled both. Ooh, I got to think on that one. That's really got me
Can't
going
either because
now.
I can't. Yeah, you have to think about who played 2 different superheroes.
Yeah. I mean, because you've had a lot of superheroes were played by multiple people. Not very many people played multiple superheroes.
Do voiceovers count?
No, voiceovers don't count.
What?
You got to actually wear the costume.
Did you not see Into the Spider-Verse?
You got to wear the costume. You got to be out there doing the stunts.
Nominated?
Yeah, no. I'm going with you got to actually be on screen.
Okay.
And then here's the next thing that you can comment or send emails in on. Any other movies that Ben Affleck was in that were any good? Because those are the only 2 I can think of. I'm not,
Okay, you got to like the first one, Good Will Hunting.
So, okay, but I think, again, Good Will Hunting is one of those movies that if it weren't for Matt Damon,
Oh, that's true.
Ben Affleck's not any
I
good.
think Damon made the movie. I mean, the only lines you remember from Damon.
Yes.
You like apples?
Yeah, you like apples. If it weren't for Damon, yeah, then you're not going to remember the movie. Also, who else was in that movie that we talked about on a previous podcast? Robin Williams.
Oh yeah, Robin Williams.
And Robin
awesome.
Williams is awesome.
He can sell cars still. I
He
still
can
make
sell.
the case
That's
he can
right.
sell
He can sell cars too. So yeah, I'm not a Ben Affleck movie connoisseur. Don't dislike the guy. I mean, actually, he's had a great career, but he's not probably one of my favorites. I circle back to Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, yeah.
He made a good superhero. So back to why we like certain superheroes as business managers. Is there anybody else that we can think of that out of your Justice League movies?
Cyborg.
I don't even remember who he is.
He's the young guy that got into a some type of accident.
Had like some
and he's
sort of robot stuff
yeah,
on
so
him.
it automatically attached to him with that new technology and the new power
Okay,
source. So
all
it
right.
changed him inside. So now he's part machine, part man. I mean, he's got the tech stuff down.
He's
I
got
mean,
the tech stuff,
Yeah, that
but that-
qualifies for you. I like all the tech stuff.
That may be a little too much tech, though. Like you freak a customer out, they come walk in the office, and you got the whole, Borg assimilated thing going on
Well,
there.
they could do that.
Yeah, that
Well,
would
you
be-
just would have to find a good way to introduce technology, especially like when you introduce a tablet. I mean, you do have to bring that technology out. You got to introduce them to it.
So
So it's
something.
kind of like not a shock,
Oh, so something on him could like break as he was trying to like his arm, and it goes down, and then he's like, "Man, I got a service contract on that arm."
right? No.
We didn't kill anybody in the business office. We're merely having them break down at this point.
That's it. See, there you go. It's perfect. There's
Once again,
always-
don't kill your customers in the business office. Okay, well, I can't think of any more DC characters. I keep trying to go back to, every time we come up with superheroes, I keep trying to go back to Marvel, because in my head, I kept thinking Spider-Man. And Spider-Man's got some cool little gadgets that you could definitely, I mean, listen, first of all, which one of us hasn't wanted to shoot a web into a customer's mouth and shut them up for a minute in the middle of a business?
All right, that was cool. You got to admit, that's pretty cool.
No, we wouldn't really do that. We're just kidding.
Yes, we
but there are times when it went through our head. Then we go back over to Marvel, so we got to stick to DC. So if y'all can think of any DC characters, I mean, hey, at this point we've blurred the lines enough. If you think of a Marvel character, you can send that one in too. Comment down below or send us an email, and in a future podcast we'll talk about. I'm sure there's got to be some really super cool superhero out there that we just hadn't thought about yet that would make an awesome business manager. And I'm sitting here as I'm saying that, I'm like, okay, who am I missing? There's somebody out there.
There's
And
the
I
as
just
soon
can't
as
think
we
of 'em.
as soon as we stop, it's going to be the one that we should have brought up.
Somebody will put up somebody cool, and then we'll all be thinking to ourselves, "Yep, that's the one."
I'm thinking maybe a villain. There could be like the villains could be really good.
There could be a villain because there's some
smart.
There's some smart villains out there, and you know what? Like Lex Luthor actually was always one of my favorite villains because he was just smart, right? And he was a good businessman too. So one of my favorite lines is the one from the original Superman movie with Christopher Reeves,
Right.
where he talks about he says gold fades, something diamonds. He says, but land is always the best investment, you know. And I can't remember the exact line, but it's like you think about it for a little bit, and you're like, yeah, you know, you're right. Land, they're not making any more of it. People are always going to want it. So I always thought Lex Luthor was just a really smart villain. So yeah, I'm sure somebody out there is going to come up with a cool villain, and maybe they'd make a good business manager. Other than the fact that I don't think we want to associate ourselves with villains.
Well, no, I'm just thinking they might have some of the skill sets, but
they might have some of the
be
skill
interested
sets.
to see what the listeners have to say based upon their submissions. Maybe we'll put something together based on the names you send in. So.
Yeah. We'll bring it up in a future podcast. So, okay, everybody. I think we have gone through all the superheroes that we can think of, and I think at the end of the day, the takeaway once again is that business managers have to be superheroes sometimes in the business office. You have to be smart, you have to be strong, you have to be confident, you have to have your special sauce that nobody else has that makes you great at your job, and then you have to be willing to use it because with great power
comes great responsibility.
That's it for us here at the ATA, folks.
Peace out.
Come see us next time.